One day, you're going to look around and you're going to realize that everybody loves you, but nobody likes you. And that is the loneliest feeling in the world.
I admit it, another hoe got me finished. Broke my heart, oh no you didn't.
Okay, good morning everyone. So, let's discuss NHL 21, shall we? For a little bit, before we get into the actual part of the video. So, NHL 21 has been recently disappointing us with multiple glitches on end. And, you know, I'm going to bring up a few of them. The EASHL penalty shot glitch, where you go on a penalty shot and it makes your screen completely black so you can't see where you're shooting from. Another glitch is where when you have custom players and all of a sudden they just disappear. They just leave your game forever. And then there's the other glitch, which is the infamous franchise mode glitch, where when you go to replace someone after you make a trade or someone gets injured, it freezes your screen. So, you are forced to do best lines, but I know a lot of people don't like that. Currently, EA Sports is fixing that, but we demand change. We've been demanding change for, I'd say, about 6 years now. I'd say even almost 5. We've been demanding change for a very long time with EA Sports, and they don't care. They honestly don't care. You know what I think? You know what? If they need, the only thing that's really going to drive them off is if they actually got legitimate competition. Like, let's say 2K or Rockstar. I don't know, Rockstar makes GTA games. If Rockstar came out and made an NHL game, that would be serious competition with EA Sports, especially if it sold well. Especially if EA Sports sold very well and it got a lot of revenue. EA Sports would have been like, okay, so we're going to listen to the fan changes and what the fans want, and then they would change. They would be forced to change their game, or else they would lose. They would lose their funding. They need an actual competitor to legitimately be forced to make the changes that we want. I think that's the only way out of it. So, I decided this last week. What would I do if I had the choice to make my own NHL game? So, I'm calling it NHL Revival. NHL Revival because EA NHL games need a revival. They need a much better console fan base. They need much better, more changes. And here's what I'm going to do. So we'll have the default modes from EA Sports. We'll take out a few modes, like maybe ones, which is basically pointless. Probably the actual offline ones. Threes we'll take out in a way. We'll swap it up. We'll change up a little bit. Change the actual circuit team where you can customize it and make it your own. And we would actually add a few hockey leagues in. So there's been a lot of demand of them adding the KHL into the NHL games. We would add the KHL in. There's been demand for college to add college games into NHL games. We would add as many college games as possible, as college teams as possible to our NHL games. I keep saying KHL games for some reason now. Now, I have separated these into 5 different modes. I might even make a more in-depth video about this with more changes that I demand, because there's so much more changes that I would want if this video gets a lot of views and a lot of likes and a lot of good revenue and all that good stuff, which I think it will, because this is one of those videos that's where it's like, okay, so it's basically just like an entertaining game like that. So, let's start off with franchise mode. It's the top thing at the corner here. I have a lot of things here. The option to have AHL/ECHL teams. The option to include ECHL teams. Now, they have the AHL team as their one team, and then they have the NHL as their other. What if they added an ECHL? An ECHL team, a completely third team that you could play. Nobody really do this, but you could do like additional call-ups, additional call-downs. You could have guys in the ECHL. Let's see here, and then you could fit in more teams, make it even more fun. Here's another thing. This is a thing related to NHL 21 on its own. Realistic CPU trades. Now, of course, there's the trade deadline mode in NHL 21, where it's like you can watch the trade deadline happen. It'll show all the trade news that has happened and stuff. No, and they're all super unrealistic. Like I saw the Anaheim Ducks traded Jamie Drysdale for like a 4th round pick, which I was like, Jamie Drysdale, he's a great player. He's a good player and all, but he's not worth. I mean, no. Well, he's an amazing player. He is not a 4th-round pick is not what someone would want to trade for Jamie Drysdale. Well, that's not what I mean. Jamie Drysdale is worth more than a 4th-round pick is what I'm trying to say. So, like, no, it's stupid. So we would actually bring in realistic CPU trades. We'll see how the player's doing. And maybe every now and then we'll make some mind-blowing trades that are like, wait, what? How did they make that trade? Like, wait, what? It's like, they're just so unrealistic. Here's the thing that's really just me. This is my side of the ballpark. Bring the James Cybulski show to the franchise mode. Now this isn't actually this actually isn't only for franchise mode. This could be also for like season modes and stuff. Like other modes like season mode. Season mode, it's already gonna be a pro. Maybe make it its own thing. Like, you know how you can listen to the music in the menu of EA Sports? Maybe allow the James Cybulski show to play in between songs. Maybe it could be like kind of like a radio station. I don't flipping know, but you know, it's a different other thing than that. The Cybulski show would be very cool because you could get franchise mode updates. You could get updates around the league, around with other teams, and with the franchise mode, you get updates on the team. Like, let's say rumors, the coaching change, how the team played the last night, and how all the other scores are, because they have that in Be a Pro, and that's a new thing they brought in to Be a Pro this year. And I think that if they added that to other modes, that would be great. That would work out super well. CPU expansion / relocation. Now, the only way that expansion will really work, in all honesty, is if like, let's say a team relocates, or like they just leave. Like, that would be the only way it works. And like all of a sudden, it's like a 1 in 25 chance for relocation, and there's like a 1 in 50 chance for expansion. It would be like a chance where it's like, oh, there's a new team coming in. You would have the choice. You would have to protect certain players, make certain players exempt, and like, you know, that would be awesome. Like, you could control a team that's not taking people in the expansion draft. Like, that would be awesome. And then relocation, that's another thing. Like, you could see teams relocate. Like, let's say I'm in the Philadelphia Flyers franchise mode, and then you see a team relocate, let's say Quebec, and they relocate as like at the Quebec Nordiques or something like that. And, well, not that would ever happen, but like, let's say that it does happen. Like a CPU, like, you can play against a new team. That would be super cool. Had to delete some storage on my phone because it decided to just quit on me. So, here's another thing. An actual draft show. Now, in season mode, it could be completely different. Like, we'll talk about that later, in the actual draft show in a different game later. An actual draft show. Like, let's say you have the first overall, like, whatever pick. You could choose, and this could be for the first round, this could be for the, you can skip the cutscene, too. You can literally, like, be in an actual draft, and, like, when you select the pick, it'll go to a cutscene where it shows the player walking out, and then you give them the jersey, they put on the jersey, and then they take the picture. That would be awesome if they actually showed that in real life. Like, not like real life, like the cinematic animations that they have in like Be a Pro. Like in Be a Pro, they have the cutscene where you get drafted, and they show that in NHL in like other franchise modes. That would be awesome. Like, I don't get why they don't do that. Now that's kind of me just being picky. Like, I want more cutscenes and more cool stuff like that. But like, that's something that we would have in NHL Revival. Winter Classic. This has been a high demand. This has been a high demand for a long time. Everyone's been wanting Winter Classics. So they can be like, oh, play outside. Give us the ability to play in outdoors. Because they make football games, right? They make baseball games, right? Make a hockey arena. Bring the baseball cinematics to NHL Revival. Well, this is to kind of EA, but we would add this in Revival, though. Bring the MLB cinematics to the NHL, and then put the arena inside of the MLB or NFL arena, whichever one you want to do, and then bam, you can do a Winter Classic. And the same for Stadium Series. I don't get why they don't do that. I honestly don't get it. And that's the thing we would have in NHL Revival, because we actually care about the fans. We actually listen to our fans. We have a community page on our NHL game, and we look at the compliments, we look at the recommendations and all that good stuff. And we just go from there. Here's a big thing. GM Connected. This is something that EA does not want to add to their game because they just can't. They just don't want to. we would add GM Connected. We would allow the ability to have you have an actual draft with maybe even multiple cutscenes. It would be like an event thing. It would be like an event, GM Connected. Like you could create events for your team, for your league, and you would have a commissioner. Then you would have 31 or however many GMs. We can make you choose different leagues, and boom, you can actually have a league. You can make insane trades. You can make mad trades. Have an actual cutscene draft. Play the games against each other or simulate them. I don't know what you want to do. Like, that would be absolute mad. Like, there would be a lot of complications to that. I might make a separate video just discussing GM Connected and NHL 21 and all the other NHL games and NHL Revival 2 because, why not? That's a whole different discussion, GM Connected. Okay, let's move on to gameplay. More cutscenes. Here are the cutscenes that I have just 3 listed here. I could come up with so many more. Tunnels. I want tunnels. And, like, this is the thing with custom players. I had a custom league. Okay, I had a custom league. And I had custom teams with custom players on them. And what I would do is, what would be really cool is if you could show the custom players going through the tunnel and onto the ice. I know you can do it. You did it in other NHL games before this EA Sports. So that's why NHL Revival is going to have it. National anthems. This is the one thing that I really want. Now, here's the thing. After I get done with these, I'll explain how we're going to sort them out and just not make them so bland. Have actual national anthems. Like, don't play the actual anthem. Just, like, show us. Like, you don't even have to play the actual anthem. And NHL Revival may even give the option to do that. Like, we can play O Canada. We can play God Bless the USA or whatever the heck the U.S. national anthem is. Like, and then you show them. You show, like, 5 guys, like your captain, your assistant captain, your first line, standing on the ice, show cutscene of their goaltender in their net, like leaning down. Like that would be amazing. Like that's just another cool cutscene that I would like to see before you play the game. Then there's warm-ups. Warm-ups has been a huge thing. People want to play warm-ups. I would even like a custom warm-up cutscene. Like I would even like that. Like I like that's better than nothing. And here's how we would actually like sort them out. How NHL Revival would sort these out was like they would put them into random. So, like, let's say one game you have Tunnel, one game you have National Anthem, one game you have Warm-Up, some games you have both, some games you have all 3, some games you have none. Some games you have none of those cutscenes. That would be perfect. You balance them out so they don't get, like, bland and repeated. And, like, that's how you would do it. And then you would add even more cutscenes as the game would keep getting updated. And that's the thing with this. We're not making separate NHL games for this. We would actually, we would just keep it one actual game. We wouldn't be making like, we wouldn't be making an NHL game every year. Maybe we would be charging people for updates, maybe charging people for the amount of how much the update costs and stuff. Like we could actually make an actual legitimate game out of this. Realistic AI. This is the thing we've been wanting for years. I've always wanted to do a thing where I would watch the custom teams or NHL teams play, watch them play the actual games and commentate them myself. I do that still, but it's so bland and boring because you see the same plays created by these AI guys over and over again. You need to bring what NHL Revival would bring in is they would analyze the actual NHL games. They would analyze the actual NHL games. Look at how fast you guys are moving. Look at all the plays. We would copy the plays that they all had and put them into NHL 21. Okay? Another thing is, and this could be just me being nitpicky, but local commentators would actually be pretty cool. Local commentators, like let's say you want the Flyers broadcaster, Jim Jackson, to be your commentator for your game. And the cool thing is that maybe when you travel from different arena to a different arena, like let's say you're in a franchise mode and you travel to Philadelphia, Philadelphia has their local commentator commentate your game. And also, when you're at your home arena, you get like James Cybulski, that's your commentator, or Mike Emmerich maybe. I'm not sure. It really depends on what's up to you, and that's what NHL Revival allows. Intermission reports, like the James Cybulski show goes to intermission reports, and like they talk about how the game has gone so far. They show highlights, and then you have the option of skipping or just staying and watching it, which would be a very fun thing to do. This is really just me being nitpicky as well. Previews and reviews before games permits to other modes as well. So, like, let's say you're doing a preview of a game. You will show highlights from from the previous game that you played, and then talking about how you can improve better or just keep the energy coming from last game into this game. And that would be a very cool addition, because it brings more realisticness and it brings more like creativity. And that's what NHL Revival is about. As well as realistic penalties. Like I get penalties sometimes where I poke check facing literally this way, and the guy that's like facing this way gets tripped. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. That's actually happened to me before. And like it's just they just need more realistic penalties, and that's what NHL Revival is going to bring. Moving on to season mode, so that's gameplay out of the way. More than one season option. This is something that I've been wanting for like almost like three NHL games. I would love to run a custom league where it could be more than one season, where I don't have to restart it every single time, and I can keep track of the statistics and stuff that way, instead of just adding everything up in calculators and crap and trying to get the stats right, because that's really what I do. And then another thing to help out with that is get a record book for the season mode. You have one for franchise mode, and I know NHL Revival will be able to do it for season mode. The option for a draft. Now, this is if they do the one season option, which NHL Revival will definitely have. It would be very cool to have option for a draft. Like, you can make your own draft class. That would be very cool, and I would love to do that with fully custom players for I don't know, like 2 or 3 rounds, and then they go to the different teams, and then boom, you get more players in the next coming season. You get some guys that don't play, you get them in the third season. This would be very fun to do, and I don't understand why EA Sports hasn't done it, which is why NHL Revival is going to do it. More cutscenes. I would love to have more cutscenes. I mean, who doesn't, to be honest? All-Star game. This is something that's people have been debating about. I would love to have an All-Star game, but I know it's probably not going to happen. It's optional for NHL Revival. More than 32 teams. I would love to have a 50-team league. That would be very cool. A 50-team, 99 overall team league. I've been wanting to do that for forever, but I can never get it done. I think it would be very fun if I was able to do that. And then Winter Classic and Stadium Series, which is what I mentioned earlier in the video with franchise mode. Basically the same stuff. Customization. So customization, I have quite a bit of things for. Shareable rosters and convertible rosters. If I'm not mistaken, back on the PC, you were able to share rosters, share custom teams, and people were able to download them on their own devices. That would be very cool to do. Especially with a custom league. Let's say you get a custom league, it gets pretty popular, and you're okay, so here's the download link for all the players, you can use them. More custom team options. I would love to have more logos. I mean, who doesn't? The thing that doesn't make sense to me is that they have NHL logos, they have vintage logos, they have the custom logos, and they have the font logos. They also have ECHL logos, but they don't have AHL logos, which I was like, how do you have an ECHL but not AHL? That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And that's what I said. So, add in the AHL jerseys. More jersey fonts and more jersey accessibility. Let us put ads on our jerseys. I don't know. That's just kind of a cool thing that NHL Revival would allow. Arenas is something that me and my friends have talked about. A lot of people, especially my friends, we want small arenas. The arenas in ESHL, we would love to have arenas like that. Let's say we want to create a local hockey league, like the hockey league we play in. We need local arenas to do that. We don't play in huge arenas. Well, most of us don't. Another big thing is mascots. There's really not a lot of mascot customization, and there's really hasn't been much since they were actually added in. Really nothing's been added. More custom players options. A casual option would be pretty cool, like you have in World of Chill, because you could take your custom guys outdoors and play with them. That would be pretty cool. That kind of relates to the Winter Classic quite a bit there. And custom music. That's something that would be really cool. Let's say we want to listen to something through NHL 21. We want to listen... Well, no, NHL Revival. And, I don't know why I keep saying 21. If I said 21 before in the video, I'm sorry. It would be very cool to, we could use our Spotifys to like insert a song into NHL Revival, and then we can just play it, or even insert our own playlist in there, and then they can shuffle it. So there you go. That is what NHL Revival has to offer, and yes, we will add in the New York Rangers goal horn as well. We probably will make more videos regarding NHL Revival, because this video was very fun to make, even though I had to delete like half the stuff off my phone to make it, but things I did for YouTube. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed him, do make sure to like, subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.